Good morning, Intenders.
Good morning.
Welcome back to Morning Intentions. Today is Tuesday, November 4th. Thank you for joining us today. Thank you for joining us for this month of What's Your Why? We're building off of everything we talked about last month with hustle culture and diving even deeper, getting down to understanding and living from our inner purpose instead of focusing on what we do or how we do it. Annette, you look like you're chomping at the bit.
I wanted to explain a little bit of our background with what is your why. This is a concept that we have taught and worked with our clients for a very, very long time. That's born from the experiences that we shared yesterday, like you shared. When we don't know our why, we're flailing around. When we're doing what our family has always done or people expect from us, we don't have our heart into it. We struggle. Things can feel empty. We can feel like we're on autopilot.
And life can feel not our own.
Yes, it's like we're living somebody else's life or we're living for somebody else instead of truly going inside and finding that meaning and purpose and authenticity are three most important words for this month. So you and I, we wanted to have this theme for this month. And then at the end of last month, I'm not even finished with it. I started reading Simon Sinek's book, Start With Why. Start With Why is more focused to people who own a business, starting a business, all the business world. But I started thinking, well, he has some really great concepts in there. If you're not familiar with Simon Sinek, you can watch him on YouTube. If you own a business, you're starting a business, anything about leadership, he's fabulous. In his book, Start With Why, he shares what he calls the golden circle. And in the golden circle, it's what do you do? And as a business, what do you do? People typically know what they do. They typically know, Simon Sinek shares, how to do it. But many times, businesses, corporations, leaders, they don't know why they do it. And so I thought, gosh, this fits in so perfectly with what we had already planned for this month. When we think about life, many of us know what we do. We know what actions we're supposed to take. Remember, we talked about that yesterday with my religion thing. I knew what religion I was supposed to be. So we know the actions we're supposed to take, the roles we're supposed to play. Most of us even know the achievements that we expect from ourselves or somebody else does. Not all the time, but many times we know the how. We know what methods that we are going to employ to do whatever it is. Some of these methods, getting into the personal development realm, they can be coping strategies, right? We can be manipulative because we know that we want a certain outcome and we have no idea why we're doing any of this. Typically, we'll know our what. We will typically know our how. But do we know our why? When we think about this, I also sharing with Ada and I were talking, and we thought to ourselves, and it came up that most of us, almost like a business, we live our life from the outside in. Like that dentist I talked about yesterday, from the outside in. Oh, he grew up as a little boy. The outside in is, oh, our family, we're all dentists, so I'm going to be a dentist.
So to use Simon Sinek's golden circle model, he knew the what of being a dentist. He knew the how of being a dentist.
Or he knew where to go to learn the how.
Exactly, you go to dental school. But the why didn't sit right.
It didn't sit right. And what typically happens, now I don't think that we want to be living in a world of absolutes. So I'm not going to say this always happens, but I do.
It's so much easier though.
But well, I think what typically happens is we don't have that fulfillment like we do when we live from the inside out. When we start with our why and let our why guide us to the what and the how.
To me, that's why people can achieve a certain level of success in their careers and they could be really big names in the world. People, their names would be in lights and we'd all know who they are, but they still struggle and they're not happy.
Well, I was watching with Dawn the other night. We watched this documentary about a certain political figure, and I'm not going to say who it is because political figures can be polarizing. And we were watching this documentary, and this guy was sharing how when he was little, he was going to grow up to be a whatever. It was just ingrained in him. His family was always this, and he just knew he was going to be a leader in this party. When the interviewer asked him a question that was essentially, what is your why? He did not know. He didn't really understand what his party stood for. He didn't know why they stood for what they stand for. He then started attacking the interviewer in little snide comments. Remember yesterday I shared what I did, and what typically happens is when we don't have a why, we dig in deeper. And sometimes the digging in deeper can be we start attacking somebody else. I hope I didn't do that, but I saw that with this guy in the interview. He started attacking the interviewer and kind of belittling him. And I thought, well, this is because this guy has no idea what his why is. He knew what he was supposed to be. He knew how to do it, but he had no idea what his why is because he's still involved in politics. I think it's important for us all as we're starting out here to remember those three words: meaning, purpose, and authenticity. Because when we start with why, we stop chasing approval and we start living from authenticity. And when we start living from authenticity, the meaning and the purpose just naturally flow because our actions are coming from something much deeper inside.
I also want us to have a sense of compassion because as we do this work, we may realize we have no idea what our why is. As Annette and I have shared, that's been our experience.
And that's why we wanted to share what we shared yesterday, because we're no different than anyone else.
Absolutely not. And we'll share more stories, I'm sure, as the month goes on. But that can be such a gut punch. When something you've felt so deeply about or a career you've had for decades and you think, well, I don't even know my why. And so having that sense of compassion, because like I said, it can be a gut punch. It can be a huge sinking feeling in your gut. And that's okay. Be gentle with yourself because that's the time for tenderness. There may be mourning there, but always remember our definition for compassion. We're all doing the best we can with the tools, awareness, and understanding we have in that moment. So our intention for today is a reflection question. Am I living my life from the outside in or from the inside out? Am I living my life from the outside in or from the inside out? Thank you so much for joining us today. Our day is better because you are part of our day. See you tomorrow.
See you then.